Hi, this is Annette from Parma, and welcome to JDL Cooks. Easter's right around the corner, and we're thinking that maybe some of you guys are a little intimidated by the ham dinner. So we want to try and bake a ham today and make this a little bit easier so that you're not so intimidated. Holidays should be fun. You should be spending time with the people you love, not tied to your kitchen. Okay, over here I have my ham. All I've done so far is put it in a 350-degree oven for about 3 hours. As you can see, it's pretty much falling apart by itself. These spiral hams don't need a whole lot of carving. All I did was go around this little bitty bone right here with my knife, and it pretty well fell into pieces. If you wanted to go ahead and glaze it at this point and serve it like so you wouldn't carve it at the table, have at it. Not my thing. I'm going to go ahead and glaze it in slices. So I'm just going to keep slicing it so that it's all nice and put it in a dish. And then I'm going to put a glaze over it. What I want to show you right now is how to make that glaze so that when you're ready to glaze your ham either in the oven or in the dish, you're already ready. Some people like honey glazed hams. Honey glazed hams are a combination of honey and brown sugar. I told you before I'm a Southern cook. This is something my mom taught me to make, and I really like it. This is prepared mustard. Now, I've never measured it, so I'm not exactly sure how much mustard this is going to take. This is 3 cups of brown sugar, and so far it's a 1/4 cup of mustard. Let's see how viscous this gets. The more you stir it, the more liquid it's going to get. You can decide if you want to use this like a rub, where you would actually take it and rub it on the outside of the ham. Or you can heat it and you can pour it on the outside of the ham. And when you pour it on the outside of the ham, you can like move the ham slices a little bit so that you get a little bit more glaze on the inside. My family's kind of addicted to this stuff. It's gonna need more than that. My family's kind of addicted to this stuff, so we usually move the ham slices so that you get a little bit more. There's something about sweet and salty together that just makes that ham luscious. I probably added about 1/8 of a cup more. Let's see if it's still going to work. My kids are getting the recipe while I'm doing this because they don't know how to make this either. I just dump things in a bowl. You see, the more you stir it up, the more liquidy it's getting. It's becoming more glaze-like and less chunky, except for that one big lump. There it goes. Gonna use a little bit more. So it looks like to 3 cups of brown sugar, you're gonna use about 1/2 cup of mustard. Okay. Like I said, this is kind of a do your own thing. A lot of years, if we're having like company especially, I'll add a little bit of cloves to this. Cloves is one of those things that a little bit goes a long way, so maybe just 1/8 to 1/4 of a teaspoon. But it just kind of makes it a little bit more fancy. Okay, like I said, all I'm going to do at this point, and I'm not going to show you this because who wants to watch me carve a ham? All I'm going to do at this point is carve this ham up and put it in a nice baking dish. It's going to go with the glaze back in the oven. Something I wanted to show you. This is all the ham drippings from the ham. Since I have an extra day, we're not going to actually present this until tomorrow at work. I'm probably going to take these ham drippings and put them in a bowl and let the fat rise to the top and take it off. And then I'm going to take whatever's left over in the bottom of the pan from this glaze and make like a gravy out of it. That's what everybody fights for at the table. They'll take a piece of ham and they'll take that glaze. Heaven, especially on a sandwich. Okay, so that's going to be our ham. And while I've got the ham in the oven, I'm going to throw in some asparagus. This is just some asparagus that I took the ends off of. I put a little bit of olive oil and some salt and pepper on it. And while my ham's glazing, my asparagus is cooking.
Hi everybody, I'm Shelley. I'm from the Parma branch. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make baked macaroni and cheese. Right now in this pot, I have 3 tablespoons of butter already melted. I've used real butter, not margarine or tub butter, because the tub butter or the margarine has a higher water content. And when you're making anything with the macaroni and cheese, or when you're baking, you want to use real butter because that's full cream content, and it will make for a much creamier mac and cheese. So to your melted butter, your 3 tablespoons of melted butter, you're going to whisk in, and the whisking in is very important. You're going to whisk in 3 heaping tablespoons of flour. And you're going to whisk this in for about 1 minute till it forms kind of a clump shape like this. And you're going to want to continue cooking that for 1 minute. And what that does is that will cook out the flour flavor that is in there. Flour does not have a really good flavor on its own. So just for about 1 minute, continue to whisk it. So this part that you're making is called a roux. And this will act as your thickener for the macaroni and cheese. Okay, so that looks good. Then to the flour and butter mixture, we are slowly, very slowly, a little bit at a time, we're going to add 2 cups of milk. I just have regular 2% because that's what I had in my fridge. You can use whole milk, you can use cream. You can use whatever you want. So I'm just going to add in a little bit at a time, and then with my whisk, I'm going to whisk it until all the clumps are gone each time that I add the milk. So this part takes a little bit of time. Just be patient. I turned my burner down to low because at this point, I don't want to overcook anything. As you add more and more milk, you can add more. Just at the beginning, just add a little bit. But as you add the milk, you can add more each time. So then at this point, I'm going to turn it back up to about medium-high heat. And I'm going to continuously stir this. I'm going to go over from my whisk to a nice smooth spatula. And I'm going to cook this for about 5 minutes until it becomes thick. And I'm just going to gently stir this. So this is, again, just kind of a long process. Just be patient with it. It will happen, I promise. Okay, so I'm gonna keep doing this, and then when it comes to the right consistency, I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so it's been 5 minutes, and if you can come closer, I'll show you what. So remember how when I first added the milk, it was still kind of runny? What you want is you want to be able to, on the back of your spoon, run your finger through it, or with another spoon because it's rather hot. You can see that line between the two. That is the consistency that you want. See how nice and thick that is? So at any point, if you're making a soup or a stew, this is just a really good basic thickener. But we're going to turn this into a nice cheese sauce. So what I have here is just 2 cups of shredded, sharp cheddar cheese. I'm just gonna dump that in there. You can use any type of cheese that you want. You can use a mild cheese. I've used Gruyere. Gruyere is really nice if you want to just, you know, bounce it up a bit. Because Gruyere has a nice velvety melting texture to it. So we're just going to stir in the cheese. At this point I've turned off the heat. I'm just going to keep stirring until all that cheese is nice and melted. In the large pan I have next to the cheese mixture, I've already pre-boiled just some plain elbow macaroni. You can use any type of noodle that you want. This is just, again, what I had in the house. This is a good use up what's in your kitchen type dish. When it comes to cooking your noodles, look on your box. You want to cook your noodles al dente, which means to the bite. And so you don't want to cook them all the way. The reason you want to do that is that they will continue cooking in the oven. So if you cook them fully while they are boiling, they will actually overcook in the oven. So cook them al dente, and your boxed instructions should tell you the time. Mine was about, for these ones, was about 5 to 6 minutes. Okay, so my cheese sauce is finished. Look at how nice and just velvety that is. That looks so good. So I'm just going to add it to my pot and just scrape it all out, get it all. Don't miss any, because that's just would be a crying shame to miss any of that cheese. Okay, I think that's good. And I used about 2 cups of dry macaroni for this much. So you wouldn't think 2 cups of macaroni would make so much, but it makes more than you think. So I have a 2-quart glass baking dish. I preheated my oven to 325. If you're using like a metal, like 9x13 pan, that would be okay. You would then just turn your oven on to 350. This is something my grandmother passed on to me. Anytime you're cooking with a glass pan, whether it be like a Pyrex pan like this or a 9x13 like cake pan, you actually want to turn your oven down 25 degrees less than what the instructions tell you to. So instead of 350, I actually have my oven on to 325. So we are just going to then dump this all in to my pan. Oh my God, that looks so good. Okay, now, if you think this is done as it is, you can put it in the oven like that is, but we're gonna again kick it up a notch. We're gonna add some Panko breadcrumbs to it. You can, again, if you want to make this fancy, you can brown your Panko beforehand. Just use a tablespoon of butter, melt the butter, add your Panko to the butter, and then it takes about maybe 2 minutes to brown, and then put it on top of the macaroni and cheese. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to put the Panko on first, and then I'm actually going to drizzle it with some extra virgin olive oil, and it'll brown up the same way. Just want to be careful you don't put too much on in one spot. I have done that before. So that's all set. We're gonna put it in the oven, again at 325, and we're gonna cook it for 45 minutes. So when that's all done, I'll come back and I'll show you the finished macaroni and cheese.
Now, the pièce de résistance. We're gonna make a bunny cake. This is something I've been making with my kids since they were little kids. And everybody loves it, especially the grandkids, because they get to usually help make it. This is 1 box of Funfetti cake mix that I've put into 2 8-inch rounds. Didn't think you wanted to watch me bake a cake. That's not the fun part. The fun part is actually making him into a rabbit. I took my cake pan. If I put the pieces back together, you can see it's a cake pan. I took my cake pan and made a pattern. You can freehand this if you want to. I'm not really that adventurous. I tend to get a little anal about things. What I'm gonna do, these are his ears. This is gonna be his bow tie. So we're gonna cut the ears. Get us. We're going to cut his ears, just following our little pattern around. We're going to turn it over and do this ear. I just used a plate to give me an arc. You can do whatever you like. You can, like I said, you can make the ears any size you want them. They could be long. They can be skinny, whatever you want. This is just a cookie tray. I have to take this to work tomorrow, so I wanted something big enough to move. I'm just going to take an ear, put it up here at the top. Here's the other ear. This one's going to be his face. It goes here. And this is going to be his bow tie. Kind of catching the idea now? Now, you can ice it any way you want to. My family likes whipped cream icings. So we'll use Cool Whip or we'll stabilize some whipped cream. That's our preference, but because I have to have this stay until tomorrow, today we're using buttercream. This is buttercream frosting. You can use it you can make your own or you can get it out of a can. And this is coconut. This is supposed to be a rabbit. Rabbits have fur. So, let's get it. Just going to use a knife. First, I'm kind of going to glue his little pieces together. And then I'm just going to spread some frosting. So all we're going to do is put some buttercream frosting over his face and his ears. You can get as fancy with this or as easy as you want to get, whatever you want to do. Like I said, it's a holiday, but it doesn't mean you have to kill yourself. So we're going to assume that he's all frosted. Got to get the sides too. All this is flaked coconut. Flaked coconut kind of looks like rabbit fur. Now, for his ears, I like a little bit of pink in the middle of his ears. So I'm going to show you how to dye your coconut and make it any color you want to. Today I'm going to make it a little bit pink. I'm going to take a little bit of coconut. Should be plenty. This is a gel food coloring. You can use liquid food coloring. You can make this any color you want to. I just wanted pink. I use a toothpick because this stuff's really powerful and it kind of makes a mess. See if I can get it to start. little bit more in there. If it doesn't move fast enough, you can always add a little bit of water to it, but it makes it a little bit wet. You can get the idea. The more you rub, the more it starts moving around in there. I'm just going to take some of my pink and I'm going to put it through the middle of his ears, just for a little bit of contrast. And then you'll use the white to go around the outside edges. Now for his face, that's where you can get creative. This is usually where my grandkids come in. This is where they like to play. We can use candy, we can use frosting. Usually we use like licorice laces for his whiskers. This year I don't have any, but I do have some gel writing frosting. Got lots of different kinds of jelly beans. Whatever you want to do. You can decorate his face, you can decorate his ears, and you can decorate his bow tie. So tomorrow, hopefully, I'm going to get the grandkids in here. We're going to decorate Mr. Rabbit, and tomorrow when we do our dinner at work, then I'll show you what Mr. Rabbit looks like. But basically, it's do your own thing. Have fun with this. Let the kids come in and play. They love eating things they make. Great time for that. Okay, the only other thing that I was going to do today is maybe make some deviled eggs. I already boiled these and took the centers out of them. I put everything in a Ziploc bag. All I have in here is all the yolks from the eggs, a couple of dollops of mayonnaise, and some mustard. Sometimes I use something like relish, but I wasn't sure if everybody at work liked relish. So I decided just to do it kind of simple. Now I'm just going to squish it up with my hands. Break them up really good, make sure it's all mixed. Good way to get a little aggression out. Okay, now that it's all mixed pretty good, I'm going to take a little bit of the air out of it and make it like a piping bag. I'm just going to cut the tip. You don't want to make it very big. And you're going to use it like a piping bag and just squeeze it back into the eggs so that it's kind of pretty and you don't make a mess. Once it's back in the eggs, you can decide if you want to put something on top of it. I like a little bit of dill. I've seen people put paprika on top of it, chili powder, whatever it is you like in your family, that's what goes on top. Okay, I'm going to finish this up, and tomorrow we're going to all get together at Parma, and Shelley's going to bring her macaroni and cheese, and we're going to plate this for you so you can see what your plate would look like on the table.
Hi, we're back. It's been 45 minutes, so I'm going to take the mac and cheese out. It's nice and bubbly and golden brown. It's been in there about 45 minutes, so let's dish some up so you can see how nice and chewy this is. Oh, look at that. That looks so good. You can hear it. Mm. So there you have it. If you want to get a close-up of that in the bowl. That looks so good. Hi, I'm Shelley.
And I'm Annette.
Welcome back to JDL Cooks. We are here at the Parma branch cooking up a lovely meal of ham, baked macaroni and cheese. Annette made some deviled eggs and some bunny cake for you. So we're going to kind of just show you how we plated it up. We cooked everything over the weekend at our home kitchens because we needed our ovens. So here's the macaroni and cheese that I made. Here's the ham and the asparagus and the nice gravy that Annette was talking about. The deviled eggs and over here, and then the piece de resistance is the bunny cake. It's so cute. I've actually never seen one before, so that's so fun.
My daughter said that she liked the idea of it so much when she was videotaping yesterday, because we haven't done this in a few years because, well, last year because of COVID. She's actually going to take the face and put it at the bottom and use the bow as like a girl's bow tie in her hair, and then put the ears above it. Doesn't matter how you stack it. It's the same principle, but I think that's a great idea.
Yes, yeah.
I can see them being pink. Everything pink.
Yeah. So let's first of all, let's talk about the macaroni and cheese as it's on its own. This is just basic. Nothing's in it. It's just the cheese mixture that I made. If you wanted to, you can add stuff to it and make it as the main dish. Right now we're serving it as the side dish. You can actually serve it with, put some leftover ham in it. We've used, you can make it like a chili macaroni and cheese by adding your ground turkey, your ground hamburger, some kidney beans, and your chili flavorings in it. You can turn it into like a taco macaroni and cheese by adding some salsa to it.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's just taco meat to it. We've added just some chicken sausage to it. You can throw in some
crab, lobster.
Yeah, you can do anything with it. You can
macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, you can. A great way to have kids eat their vegetables is to throw in some frozen veggies and just serve it with a nice side salad, and you have yourself a nice dinner there. And it's a very versatile recipe.
Can't go wrong with macaroni and cheese.
No, you can't.
The ham is here. I told you I was going to slice it and go ahead and glaze it in the pan. That's what it looks like instead of having that great big ham on your table. This I like better because it's already served. Everybody can just take a fork and pick it up. The asparagus we put in the oven at the same time we glazed the ham. Came out beautifully. This is those ham renderings that I told you about. We just added the little bit of drippings from the glaze to it. Shelley will attest after she's done eating it that it's awesome. This is the pièce de résistance. This is our bunny cake. I used the icing for his whiskers. This is the pink that we were talking about yesterday with the food coloring and the coconut. These are just some jelly beans. These are our eggs. These have dill on them. That's a little bit of chive. That's some paprika. Whatever you want to do. The beauty of being a home cook is you can do what you like. You don't have to follow a recipe. Nothing has to be exact. As long as you're not baking. Baking has to be exact. Cooking, anything goes. So this is kind of what my table would look like at home. We might add some, I don't know, fluff to it or something. But this is pretty much it. Maybe another green vegetable. Do what you want to do. Do what your family loves. But don't tie yourself to the kitchen. The idea of a meal like this is a lot of fun and it's a lot of food. But try to get things that aren't going to make you so tired that when your family's gone, you say, thank goodness they're gone. You want to spend time with people you love.
Yeah. This
is not a hard meal to put together. Some of it can be done ahead. Just heat it up. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to heat it up. We're going to eat it.
One of the things my family does with our ham is we quarter up some potatoes and we quarter up some carrots and we put that underneath it and then let the drippings.
That's a good idea.
Cook the potatoes and
I bet it's good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yep.
The drippings part is one of the best parts of the ham. It's awesome.
So the drippings get into the potatoes and the carrots.
Exactly.
And, it's really good. So we're going to dish up a plate for you guys. I'm going to start with some macaroni and cheese here. Of course, this is set up a little bit from yesterday.
A few slices of ham. With the ham, this is baked the way my husband likes it. If you like your ham a little less done, take it out about an hour before I did. This was done about 2.5, 3 hours in the oven. If you want to, stop at maybe an hour and a half, look at it. If it looks like it's done to your liking, then go ahead. Use my fingers. Go ahead and stop it there and glaze it so that it's not so overdone. This is the way he likes it. My family likes it this way. It's okay.
Yep. And then I'm just going to scoop some.
It's not a gravy like thick. It's like thin.
It's like an au jus almost.
Yeah. It just adds some flavor to your ham.
Keeps it nice and moist while you're eating it, yeah.
You like deviled eggs or no?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Do you? What do you want?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I like the dill ones.
Okay. Put the dill on there.
There you go.
Okay. So there you have it. a nice baked ham, baked macaroni and cheese, some asparagus, and some deviled ham. Or some deviled eggs. Not deviled ham. That would be
We could do that with the ham too.
Yeah, double.
There you go.
Mince it up. Okay.
Happy Easter.
Yep. We will see you guys in May for our next meal, which is going to be some
Bean
black
burgers.
Black bean burgers. You're going to show us
Zucchini fries.
Yep, and you're going to show us how to use an air fryer,
Yep,
which
we
I'm
haven't
really
used
excited.
that yet.
So it's going to be really exciting for that.
And
then,
fruit fluff.
Yep, and fruit fluff. So, thanks you guys again. We'll see you in May.
Bye.
Bye.